everybody. I wish you a very warm welcome to this first global Tchoukball Forum. Around the world, extraordinary projects are managed by people who are really passionate by our sport. And we want to take the opportunity today in this forum to present you some of those projects. With me today to co-host this event, John Zimmer. Hi, John.
Hi, Danielle. It's great to be here. And welcome to viewers from around the world. For 50 years now, Tchoukball has given so much to so many. A high-energy sport, important sporting values, education in schools. And around the world, hundreds of clubs and leagues and associations and tournaments and much more have been launched with great success. And today and tomorrow at the Global Tchoukball Forum, we're going to hear about some of them, because we're going to be speaking to some amazing men and women who have done so much to advance the sport. We'll hear how they got their start, what things they've been doing, successes they've had, challenges they've had, and how they've overcome them.
Thanks a lot, John, for this introduction. Today we'll have several prestigious guests: Giulio Calegari from the FITB, Anita Kunosh from Hungary, Raymond Jamello from the Philippines, Dazi Kouatsi from the Ivory Coast, and Janine Norman from the UK. Hi, everybody. We want to give you the opportunity, all the people here, to ask them some questions, to give some comments. And for this reason, we have opened a chat. Our community manager, Erika Mesmer, will manage this chat. Erika, could you explain us, please, how everything is going to work?
Yes, hello, and a warm welcome also from my side. As we can't meet in person this year, we really want this forum to be as interactive as possible. Therefore, we have created a chat, which you will find next to your video just below or on the right. So don't be shy, ask all your questions, give us your feedback. You have this fantastic opportunity to interact with us and with all our presenters. I'll be following the chat and I will bring them back to the forum so that we can interact and bring them forward. I really want you to enjoy the presentations which are coming up now, and I'm handing back to John and Daniela.
Thank you, Erika. She just forgot to say also something, that Erika is completely fluent in French, in German, in English, also in Swedish. So if you have a question in any of kind of these languages, just ask her and she will be able to translate this for us. Today, we are Saturday, 19th December, and it should have been the day of the final of the Nations Cup. Unfortunately, we couldn't organize those games, but we want to show you some pictures of the last year where we had fantastic games with very powerful teams from Italy, from Great Britain, from France, from Switzerland, and of course also of Taiwan. We had a wonderful finals with two teams of Taiwan. I invite you now to have a look at those short film with those pictures of the best actions of the Nation Cup 2019.
Défense incroyable. Super défense de la part de Taïwanais.
It is such a great sport.
And it's such amazing to see all those great games again. And I will be very happy again to see those great players again next year at the 2021 Geneva Nations Cup. I will be very happy to see a lot of teams again on the field. But let's go now again in this global Tchoukball Forum. John, could you please introduce us our first guest?
It'd be my pleasure. In the Tchoukball world, nobody has done more to advance the sport than our first guest. For more than 20 years now, he's traveled around the world and he's brought Tchoukball to so many countries. In fact, when it comes to the development of the sport, you might call him the Michael Jordan, the Cristiano Ronaldo, the Wayne Gretzky of Tchoukball. Originally from Brazil, our first guest is Julio Calegari. Julio, bom dia, tudo bem?
Bom dia. Hi, everyone.
Julio, it's great to have you here. And someone like you who's done so much for the sport for so many years, I'd be interested to know, how did it all begin for you?
Well, I actually started playing Tchoukball in 1993 when I was only 15 years old. It was back in Brazil. There was a presentation on the beach close to São Paulo. And the responsible was Océlio Ferreira, one of the responsible for bringing Tchoukball from Switzerland to Brazil. And I learned there how to play. We start organizing some presentations in public schools in Brazil and some local tournaments. And it was just in 2000 that I actually started to have more contact with the international community of Tchoukball when I took part in the World Tchoukball Championship in Geneva in 2000.
And you're originally from Brazil, and Brazil is an amazing sporting nation. I mean, football, volleyball, basketball, capoeira, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and so much more. What is it about Tchoukball that drives your passion for the sport?
Well, at the time I was in high school and I played volleyball and handball. And for me, it was pretty easy to learn Tchoukball, and I really love it, especially since I started playing on the beach. It was the first place where I learned and I played Tchoukball. And for me, it was amazing to be able to play a new sport and to be able to develop this sport there, even at that young age. And it was really cool to make those presentations and start the whole development of Tchoukball. And that's how I got passionate by the sport, and also because of my background in some other sports.
It's a great story, but your passion to develop the sport just didn't end at the borders of Brazil. You've gone worldwide. What was the motivation?
Well, I can speak some 6 languages, and I was working in aviation. And that's how the FITB invited me to use my skills and my contacts to develop the sport. And in 2006, I moved to Dubai, also still working for an airline. And that gave me a lot of possibility to go to countries to make presentations, courses, and take part in events. And for me, especially, is the pleasure of teaching something, passing forward something that someone passed to me a long time ago when I was young, in a young age and in high school. And for me, it's a pleasure to teach someone else now. And I'm really glad when I see some of those countries that I helped them in the beginning to introduce the sport with the first presentations and course, and to see that now the sport is really developed in the country, and they are having tournaments and take part in international competitions. And some of them now in a very high level that I would learn from them, like the case of Singapore.
That's great. And I know that one of the places where you've done some great work is in Africa, and I want to talk to you a bit about that. But first, let's show our viewers a video where they can not only hear but see some of the great work that you're doing.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to me to take part in the Global Forum by Tchoukball Geneva Indoor, and I'll be talking about the development of Tchoukball in Africa. Just as a quick introduction, my name is Julio Calegari, I'm from Brazil, and I'm the Director of International Development for the FITB. I have been playing Tchoukball since 1993, and I have been in over 30 countries teaching Tchoukball, organizing presentations and events, and I'm also the coordinator of the volunteer coach program in Africa. The development of Tchoukball in Africa has grown a lot, especially since 2010. Now there are over 20 countries playing Tchoukball. Most of those, they already have their national association or federation, and they are members of the FITB. And we are also still working in a lot of new contacts with some countries and also some associations to find partnerships to develop Tchoukball in the continent. In Africa also we have a lot of other problems. It's not just on starting Tchoukball and with the first contact, but also financial crisis and structure. Is difficult to have equipment there to develop the local equipment, but also transport and to have a place to play. You can see in those pictures some countries like in Cameroon where they have started with their first friend was made of wood, and also in Ghana that to play on the beach they were taking a boat to go there. But resilience is the key word in the development of Tchoukball in Africa, and they are doing a great job, especially in some countries that now they have a couple of teams. They have also take part in international events and organize their local tournaments. Since 2010, the FITB has organized the Continental Tchoukball Championship in Africa. The first one was held in 2010 in the city of Accra in Ghana, with only 3 countries, but the number of participants has been increasing every 2 years. The last events were held in 2018 when we had the African Tchoukball Championship in Kampala in Uganda with the participation of 5 countries, and 1 week later the African Beach Tchoukball Championship in Accra, Ghana, also with the participation with another 5 countries. For 2020 it was scheduled to have the African Tchoukball Championship in Togo. However, due to the coronavirus pandemic, this event was rescheduled for 2021. During the year of 2020, many countries were affected due to the coronavirus pandemic, and in Africa it wasn't different. Many countries had a slowdown in their development and activities of Tchoukball. However, some countries where the pandemic was controlled, they could still develop and make some more activities, and that was the case, for instance, of Tunisia, where they could develop some tours. The new clubs and associations were created, and they held the first Sahara Beach Tchoukball tournament. And during this event, they also had the first ever beach Tchoukball friendly match of a team from Africa and Europe, and that was Tunisia and Czech Republic. For 2021, the FITB has many projects for the development of Tchoukball in Africa. Many courses and presentations should be held, and also the organization of the African Tchoukball Championship in the city of Lomé in Togo. We also expect to have the second edition of the Sahara Beach Tchoukball Tournament in Tunisia, and the first Mediterranean Tchoukball Tournament in Essaouira, Morocco. This event will invite teams and clubs from the whole Mediterranean region, including North of Africa and also from Europe. There are many ways that a national federation or player can assist and support the development of Tchoukball in Africa. It can be done by a donation of clothes, equipment, ball, knee pads, or also even the payment of the participation fee of an African player in the African Tchoukball Championship. Also, if you have any player or coach from your country going to Africa on holidays, they can contact the FITB and we can be in contact with the local clubs, and they can take part in the training or even help to organize some course or event. And the other way be the participation in the volunteer coach program. The volunteer coach program is a great opportunity to share in Africa your skills and experience as a player or coach. The program consists of 2 to 8 weeks of homestay in a chosen country where you will take part in the training of a local school, clubs, and even the national team. It's a life-changing experience, and you'll be also able to visit the country, live the local culture, and build great friendship. For more updates on the development and programs for Tchoukball in Africa, join us on Facebook on the group of the Confederation of African Tchoukball and also on Tchoukball Volunteering Program in Africa. For any direct contact, please do not hesitate to contact me on julio.calegari@tchoukball.org. And thank you all for your participation on the Global Forum by Tchoukball Geneva Indoor 2020.
Julio, you're doing such amazing work there, and at the end of the video you gave your email. I'm afraid you might be flooded with hundreds of emails in your box tomorrow morning. The volunteer coach program sounds incredible. In how many countries now is it being run?
We have a contact already with 6 countries that they are open for the program, and we had already 5 participants.
And
3 from Brazil, 1 from Austria, and 1 from Italy.
And have you learned any lessons from working with coaches from all these different countries?
Well, I think they had the most amazing experiences since they had been in those countries for 1 month or 2, sharing their experience, but also learning a lot in there. And it was really amazing, this program, and it's still open for someone who is interested. Please do not hesitate to contact me.
Daniel.
Yeah, very practically, Julio. Let's say I'm a coach from any kind of country in the world and I want to take part to this program. What can I do and how should I get prepared for this?
Okay. First, you need to send us an email and we see the countries available for the programs. Some are English-speaking countries and other are French-speaking countries. We have in Ghana, in Togo, it's open for this program, Uganda, Tanzania, and Morocco. And then we'll try to arrange with the local association when would be the suitable time for you to go and all the program that we will have there. You have to pay for your visa and your ticket, but there you would stay in a homestay of one of the coaches or one of the players. And during 1 month, you would be helping them in the promotion of Tchoukball, training at schools, local teams, organizing events.
Excellent.
And participating there.
And Julio, let me know, how old should I have to be able to take part to such a program?
Should be older than 18 years old.
Okay, fine, thank you.
That's not a problem for you and me, Daniel. Let's go up to our social media booth. Erica, do we have any questions from people anywhere around the world?
Yes, it's amazing. We have plenty people on our chat from Switzerland, from France, from Tunisia, from Philippines, from Guatemala, and of course from Brazil. And many of the people know Julio. They're all sending you plenty of regards. And Julio, on behalf of the whole community and the Tchoukball world, many thanks for what you're doing for our sport. And with this, I'm handing back to Daniel and John.
Julio? Yeah, little question. John has told us that you have promoted Tchoukball in so many countries around the world. Could you just let us know the main difference that you can see in the African countries? What is more easy, what is more difficult when you go and take and introduce Tchoukball in a country of this continent?
Well, in Africa, I can see that they have a lot of power, they have a lot of skills. It's really good to work on sport in there. However, one of the main difficulties is regarding to the structure in there. To have a lot of countries, it's even difficult to have a playing area, a place to play a sport hall. So usually they start playing in the grass, in outdoor, in those kind of fields. But one of the main problems is to get the equipment there. Because in some countries, they still can try to develop their own frames and nets and elastic. But in Africa, it's more complicated. So they always have to import, and that make the cost higher. But with the support of the FITB and also the support of a lot of clubs and associations around the world, we have got some donation. And with the contact in each country in Africa, we managed to develop now in over 20 countries in Africa.
Wow.
Julio, unfortunately, our time with you is drawing to a close. Any final words that you'd like to share, words of wisdom, a message that you'd like to leave the world community about Tchoukball, something that you want them to take with them?
Well, just like me, play with passion, play with pleasure, and what you know, you pass forward to someone else. You teach someone else. What you learn from someone, you teach someone else. And that's my main message. And regardless the problem or difficulty in each country, with a lot of hard work, you can develop this sport. And do not hesitate to contact the FITB or myself directly for more information in those projects and how you can help and support the development of Tchoukball. Thank you.
Fantastic. Muito obrigado, Julio.
Obrigado.
Daniel.
Excellent. Okay, thanks so much, Giulio. I know you well. I know all the work that you are doing, and it's really fantastic to see all the work that you have done also in Africa. Giulio, stay with us. We are going now in a completely other part of the world. John, excuse me, could you please introduce our next guest?
Yes, I don't think anybody's going to confuse me with Giulio. Yes, our next guest comes from Hungary, and I'd like to welcome to the stage Anita Kunos. Anita, jó napot kívánok!
Hi, everyone. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Jó napot kívánok! My father's from Hungary, so I have to get a little bit of Hungarian in.
Jó napot kívánok!
How are you doing?
Good.
Tell us a little bit about Tchoukball in Hungary. I understand that Hungary has not yet sent a team to the Nations Cup, but I think that's going to change. How is it going in Hungary?
Well, I started promoting Tchoukball in Hungary 4 years ago. Although I know Tchoukball for a very long time, because I met Tchoukball in the United States 20 years ago. I met at that time Pierre-Alain Girardin was there, and he was promoting Tchoukball in the United States. So at that time I was living there, and that's how I learned Tchoukball. And then 4 years ago I started to promote Tchoukball in Hungary. And this year we were planning to send any teams to the Geneva Indoors, but because of this situation in the world, we couldn't do that. So, but it's a big pleasure to be here with you online in that forum.
I have here you, Anita. Next year you will take part to the Geneva Indoor.
Have we lost
Okay.
it? Yeah. and yes, it's unfortunate. I mean, 2020 has just been a crazy year for the whole world. Tell us a bit about more, coming back to Hungary though, where is Tchoukball played? Is it in schools? Is it in cities? Are there regional leagues? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we are doing the promotion actually parallel. So mostly we are in schools. We are now at universities for physical education, and also we promoting side by side the quasi, I would say, the normal Tchoukball and the wheelchair Tchoukball and all kind of other type of Tchoukballs. We have only a few teams. They are youth teams. So we were present at the 2018 European Championship, Youth Championship in Castellanza. That was actually our first international present. And then, we are developing. We try a lot of projects to get in more and more schools. And we hope that from that schools, we will have several clubs and coaches and teams.
Well, we're going to talk more with Anita, and I fully expect to see a Hungarian team at the 2021 Tchoukball Geneva Indoors tournament. But first, let's take a look at a video that Anita and her team have prepared that shows us a very special way in which Tchoukball is being played in Hungary.
My name is Anita Kunos. I am the president of the Hungarian Tchoukball Federation. In this presentation, I would like to share the way, how and why we started to play inclusive Tchoukball, promoting wheelchair Tchoukball for people with disabilities. Since 2017, we have presented wheelchair Tchoukball in the National Rehabilitation Institute. Players often have spinal cord injuries or are amputees. From this institute, we have now several players, but we experience some difficulties to include more people. Our experience is that people with disabilities whose injuries do not require them to use a wheelchair are resistant to use wheelchairs to take part in many kinds of sport activities. Only a few of the disabled persons have active or sport wheelchairs which they can use for sports activities. It is difficult everywhere to persuade people to be more active or do some sport, and especially challenging in our country, which influences the number of players and teams. How we can make them play? In Tchoukball we say that Tchoukball is a game for all. Therefore, we were thinking how we can be more inclusive in Tchoukball. This is how we started to define the idea of inclusive Tchoukball. So we tried having players in wheelchairs and players on their feet playing together on the same field at the same time. The inclusive game gives disabled and temporarily disabled people the opportunity to play without sitting in a wheelchair. We have extra sport wheelchairs if they want to sit in and try. People with disabilities can play together with their family members and friends. As a base, we used the rules of wheelchair Tchoukball. Double D-shaped lines. When shooting, non-wheelchair players respect the 3-meter line, wheelchair players the 2-meter line. Defense is according to the wheelchair Tchoukball rules. And we adapted the rules for passes. Experiences. Our young players and casual players really enjoy playing together with disabled players. They have a strong friendship and they like to try out playing in a wheelchair. Our experience is that this mutual game teaches a lot for the participants. It can help to understand the real meaning of the word inclusive. It can promote the inclusive education as the most effective way of sensitization achieved among youngsters. It shows that there is always a new beginning, new life situation, new opportunities. In integrated schools, a very good option to include everyone. Our achievements: we were invited to present Inclusive Tchoukball at the University of Physical Education, and they are also included Inclusive Tchoukball in their Inclusive Sport Coach 1-year course. National Organization of Impaired Students in Hungary invited us to present the game in schools. We maintain a weekly training session open to mixed ability and wheelchair-bound players. During the summer, we play outside in the park. Conclusion: if you cannot adjust the circumstances, then adjust the tool you have in your hand. Every little step helps us to get closer to our goal. Any way of promotion helps build our Tchoukball community where everybody can be included. Thank you very much for your attention. Enjoy this wonderful event.
Thank you very much, Anita. Fascinating video. You know, what really intrigued me, I've seen for many years people play wheelchair basketball and everybody is in the wheelchair. And yet this is the first time that I can think of where I've seen a sport where you have both people in wheelchairs and people running. How was that experience when you first tried it?
Well, at the beginning we had to figure out, but then actually we experienced that the most important rule from the Tchoukball, that it's a non-body contact sport. Actually, it could make it happen. So without wheelchair and the wheelchair people, they can move very, very smoothly together. And at the first time, when people know how to play, then it's much easier. So when new players are coming, then it's a little bit more difficult because they just don't know how to position themselves on the field. But once they learn these basic movements and the basic situations, then actually it's not a problem to move together.
And Anita, with your experience now, is it easier to have everybody with wheelchair, or is it better to have some with wheelchair and some who are playing usually Tchoukball in the same field?
Well, I would say that you can't really compare these two type of games. I think both of them has advantages and disadvantages. If everybody is in wheelchair, then I think the game is a little bit slower than, and the other way, when we have also players on feet, then it's a little bit more active or a little bit faster, the game.
Okay, excellent. And on a very practical way also, okay, let's start that I want also to start wheelchair Tchoukball here in Geneva. Could you give me some advices to know how we can go forward with this if I want to launch such kind of project?
Well, 3 years ago, we started the whole wheelchair tchoukball presentation at the rehabilitation centers. And also, this is the most important way still in our country. So we currently are in the biggest one, in the National Institute. But our main goal is to go and also on the countryside we have rehabilitation institutes and have the wheelchair tchoukball or the inclusive tchoukball as part of the rehabilitation. It is very good because of the non-body contact rules helps people to play tchoukball at a very, very early stage in the rehabilitation. Yeah. And it's also non-dangerous for them, okay, which is good.
Anita, just very practically, okay? We are managing here Tchoukball in Geneva, in Switzerland. I'd like to have some precise advice. If I want to start now, tomorrow, wheelchair tchoukball in Geneva, what is the first step that I need to do?
Well, you have to have players with wheelchairs, or you have to have, or you have to have extra wheelchairs for players who are coming to you and they want to try and sit in. So you have to have extra sport wheelchairs, and then you can start actually.
Anita, we, with the Tchoukball Geneva Indoor, we have a lot of different kind of tournament. We have 8 days of tournament every year, and we are really willing to organize also a wheelchair tournament in Geneva at the Geneva Indoor. Do you think it's possible to organize something like this?
I think yes. Why not? I think that you will have a wonderful presenter tomorrow about wheelchair tchoukball, Chiara. And actually, I'm working together with Chiara, so I learned a lot from her. And but I think it's absolutely possible to have such a tournament. I would say that I also have players who would love to join such event. And at the beginning, if not special national teams, but just to have a mixed team from different countries and just let them play because they enjoy very much.
I have heard this. Okay, Annika, next year in Geneva with your team, okay?
Okay, great.
It's fascinating, Anita, and I think especially when you have mixed players, I think it really broadens the perspectives of those who can walk about what it's like to be in a wheelchair. But right now, I want to take us upstairs to the social media booth. Erica, I believe we have some questions.
Yes, hello. It's amazing all the reaction we're having, and Anita, people really loved your presentation. The reactions are really fantastic, and people are really amazed by the way you have been doing this, and yeah, how truly inclusive it becomes when you are having players which are both in the wheelchair and walking. So big thank you from the community. And back to the stage to John and Daniela.
Thank you very much, Erica. Anita, thank you very much. Köszönöm szépen.
Thank you very much. Köszönöm szépen.
Okay, and now we're going to go back to Daniel, who's going to introduce to us a very special interview.
We'll have something very, very special now, because we have prepared for you an interview of a very, very key person in tchoukball. It's the person who have worked closely with Dr. Herman Brandt. Dr. Herman Brandt, who is the person who has invented tchoukball. It's Michel Favre. And he knows very well Herman Brandt, and we wanted to ask him some question, the way he has started to work with Herman Brandt at the end of the 60s. Look carefully at this video, because maybe it's going to stay in the history of our sport.
Bonjour Michel, bienvenue et merci d'être avec nous aujourd'hui pour ce premier forum mondial du tchoukball. Michel, tu étais président de la Fédération suisse, de la Fédération internationale. Tu as développé le tchoukball dans la région de Neuchâtel et particulièrement en Suisse. Mais surtout, tu étais un grand ami du docteur Herman Brandt, notre père à tous, tchoukballeur. C'était la première fois que tu avais rencontré Herman?
C'est mon frère qui me dit, mais écoute, il y a un livre qui est sorti. Mon frère faisait des études de médecine. Et puis, je dis, bon, alors je cherche partout, puis je lui ai téléphoné. C'est là qu'il me dit, mais écoutez, je vais démontrer une idée nouvelle que j'ai avec un sport que j'appelle Tchoukball. Et je vais faire la démonstration à une société de gym de handballeurs à Morges. Et puis c'est là que je suis allé quand il donnait la démonstration.
Est-ce qu'à ce moment-là, c'est la première fois que tu as joué au tchouk?
Ouais, 2 semaines après, j'étais à Genève avec Herman d'un Salson. Et c'est là que, c'est en 68 effectivement que j'ai joué la première fois. C'est ce qui était assez extraordinaire, on allait jouer sur sa petite propriété qu'il avait à Cesgnin. Là, on voit un peu l'équipe et puis c'est avec ses amis. Et puis ici, ce qui est intéressant, là, je l'ai pris en photo lorsque c'est lui-même qui joue au tchouk, là.
En 1970, il y a 50 ans, est-ce que tu imaginais que le tchouk allait devenir ce qu'il est devenu aujourd'hui?
J'espérais, mais maintenant, je trouve c'est fantastique. Herman m'avait dit, lorsque j'étais vers lui, quelques jours avant son décès, il m'a dit, mais vous verrez, vous vivrez des moments merveilleux à l'avenir. Donc lui-même espérait ce qui est en train de se vivre maintenant.
On retrouve régulièrement cette règle des 3. Pourquoi 3 passes? Pourquoi 3 pas?
À la pelote basque, un joueur qui réceptionne la balle relance immédiatement contre le fronton. Cette question de passe a été étudiée très sérieusement. On avait commencé par une passe, on a changé, on a autorisé 2 passes, puis maintenant 3. 3 nous paraissait vraiment l'idéal. Il faut faire comprendre l'intérêt de la passe qui introduit dans le jeu une nécessité primordiale de tactique. À la pelote basque, dès la réception, le joueur est immobilisé. On propose 3 empreintes pour 3 pas, mais cela incite quand même à obliger de faire circuler la balle et non l'homme. Évidemment, il a fallu réglementer aussi le temps pendant lequel le sujet a le droit de tenir la balle. Limiter ce temps, au début on disait 5 secondes, mais 3 secondes, de nouveau, le nombre 3 nous a paru suffisant pour ne pas paralyser le jeu. Alors il a fallu aussi interdire une certaine zone au pied du cadre, parce que plus le rapprochement excessif des joueurs devant le cadre se traduit par une obstruction complète. Donc cette question de terrain interdit devant le cadre a été longuement étudiée. On a proposé bien sûr 3 mètres, mais on peut, suivant les cas, suivant qui joue au tchouk, suivant les capacités physiologiques, on peut la mettre à 2 mètres, 2 mètres 50, suivant en pensant aux enfants ou peut-être des gens qui ont la difficulté de se déplacer. Pas plus de 3 tirs sur le même cadre. Pourquoi 3 de nouveau? Pour rester dans cette facilité finalement de comprendre le jeu. S'il y a partout le nombre 3, c'est plus facile d'enseigner le jeu.
En te connaissant un petit peu plus, je sais que tu es enseignant, que tu as enseigné les maths, les chiffres tu connais bien. Est-ce que tu aurais une idée du nombre de personnes à qui tu as enseigné le tchoukball?
Alors là, on pourrait faire un jeu mathématique. Si je donne à 2 personnes, puis ces 2 personnes donnent encore à 2 autres, on arrive à un nombre énorme. Maintenant, j'espère plusieurs milliers de personnes quand même, vu qu'on sait que ça se joue dans 40 pays et que, je pense qu'on arrive à on arrive aux millions à mon avis.
Rappelez que tu as fait un travail énorme ces dernières années. Tu as fait en réunissant tous les articles de journaux, toutes les photos, tout ce qui s'est passé dans le monde du tchouk depuis 50 ans.
Tout à fait. J'ai même profité d'aller au-delà. J'ai mis, si vous voulez, les premiers travaux que lui avait faits dès 1928. Et maintenant, j'en suis à 1993 sur le site. Et je vais finir depuis 1994 jusqu'à 2000. Parce qu'après, depuis 2000, l'historique, il se fait un petit peu partout. je dois vraiment, vraiment remercier tous les acteurs, aussi bien les joueurs que tous ceux qui entraînent, aussi bien des équipes ou des groupements uniquement d'activités physiques et qui pratiquent le tchouk, parce que c'est vraiment maintenant à tout le monde de porter ce message. Et j'aimerais bien qu'on puisse les porter dans certains endroits où malheureusement la liberté n'est pas la même que la nôtre.
Michel, moi, je te remercie énormément pour le privilège que tu nous as offert de nous rejoindre pour ce forum. Vraiment, pour tout ce que tu as fait pour nous tous. Tu as été, tu es et tu resteras à jamais celui sans qui on ne serait pas là aujourd'hui. Tu as porté la flamme du tchoukball, de la pensée d'Herman jusqu'au terrain de sport d'aujourd'hui, de ce jour, au nom du tchoukball mondial, au nom de tous les acteurs qui sont là autour et de tout ce qui améliore notre société, Michel. Je pense que tu as largement accompli la mission du Dr Brand. Merci.
You know, Daniel, as I was watching the video, I was thinking, we can't talk today to the original founders of hockey or football or baseball, but we still have one of the originals from Tchoukball.
Yeah, it's a really good advantage that we have him. I know personally Michel. I think that he's here now in front of his screen to look at this forum, and I want today, once again, tell him really a deep, deep, deep thank for this 50 years of dedication in our sport. Michel, thank you very, very, very much.
Merci beaucoup, Michel.
Okay, John, let's go and continue our world tour. Could you please present us our next guest?
It would be my pleasure. We are now going to go a different direction. We are going to go east, at least east from Geneva. And we're going to go to the Philippines and speak with the president of the Tchoukball Association of the Philippines, Raymond Hamalo. Raymond, welcome.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Raymond Hamelo, and I'm the president of Tchoukball Association of the Philippines.
It's lovely to have you here. Kamusta?
Fine.
Tell me, Raymond, could you tell us a little bit about Tchoukball in the Philippines? What are some of the main projects you're working on? What are some of the main challenges that you're facing? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, Tchoukball started 10 years ago in the Philippines, and we have some difficulties in promoting it on the start, but with the collaboration and help of leaders from all over the country, we were able to set up slowly, and now we are already 10 years in promoting Tchoukball in the whole country. We are promoting Tchoukball primarily on universities, communities, and even touch base with all the sports officials of the land, from the local to the national.
And you find that now people are starting to get more interested?
Well, with the help of our people who write sports, the sports writers, we have friends who promote Tchoukball in television, radio, and also newspaper, national dailies. So it helps us in propagating the name of Tchoukball in the Philippines.
Yeah, fantastic. They say there's no such thing as bad press. There's only good press and no press.
Yes, I agree.
You know, the Philippines, it's an amazing country, and geographically, you're a very unique country. There's over 7,000 islands that comprise the Philippines. Has this posed any challenges for you?
Well, that's a good question. Our way of promoting is we have leaders from north to south to the middle Philippines. That is the first thing that we have done to set up leaders to lead and promote this new sport, this unique sport. So without them, it's truly difficult in promoting to this so many islands all over the Philippines. But well, it's a collaboration, and well, Tchoukball is a game of teamwork, so we operate on this kind of level.
It's sounds like a real team effort, which is fantastic.
Yes.
As you know, as well as everyone in the world knows, 2020 has not been a great year. I mean, we are all now becoming used to living with these things, masks, because of the coronavirus pandemic. And I want to talk to you in a moment about how you are dealing with the pandemic in terms of Tchoukball and what it has meant for you. But first, I'd like to share with our viewers a video that you've prepared to give us a bit more insight into Tchoukball in the Philippines.
We've been playing Tchoukball for the last 10 years and still playing and promoting Tchoukball in our country. Restrictions from government and health authorities like social distancing, disallowing sports events and gatherings, and even simple team practices were disallowed, and this affected our coaches and athletes. Then mental health, depression, and separation anxiety sinked in. To counter the ill effects of this pandemic, Tchoukball Association of the Philippines, in partnership with the Philippine Olympic Committee, had offered webinars focused on individual trainings, skills development, and character building. On our side, we have our coaches huddle. We meet and discuss how to keep the team, the players, and coaches together. And we have our national get-together this December called Zoom-Mustahan. This is a group meeting in Zoom with 500 athletes, coaches, and officials attending. And we have Coach Fan, who is our invited guest to grace the special occasion. On a positive note, we are looking forward to the government opening the chances for allowing local club tournaments and national tournaments. It is a great privilege to sit down with the National Sports Association leaders during their monthly General Assembly. I also had a chance to be invited as a resource speaker during a Senate hearing in the creation of a National Sports Academy bill. So to my dear Tchoukball family, let us be reminded of Dr. Herman Brandt's objective on Tchoukball: not to make champions, but contributing to the creation of a harmonious society through our unique sport, Tchoukball. A sport we fondly call the gentleman's ball game. Merry Christmas to all our Tchoukball friends and family. Stay healthy, stay safe.
Thank you so much, Raymond. That was fascinating to watch. I have so many questions, and I think the first question that comes to my mind is, you said you had a Zoom meeting with 500 participants. I feel that if I have a Zoom meeting with 20 people, by the end, my eyes are like 2 fried eggs in a pan from staring at the screen. What was that like, having a meeting with 500 people?
Well, it is a project to counter these mental health issues, and well, players and coaches are clamoring to meet together face to face, but it's impossible. So we have our Tchoukball Association of the Philippines ad hoc committee doing such a wonderful job in finding ways how to do this thing. So we have this Zoom-Mustahan this coming December 22, where we wish to gather many players, coaches, and leaders, and even people who love these sports. This is a simple way of a get-together, and also, well, seeing each other is more than enough, because all these restrictions coming from our government and Department of Health.
And, you know, I think it's quite important that, I mean, everybody knows the physical threats of the pandemic, but I think it's talked about, but less so, is the stress, the mental health toll that it's taking. So it's I'm glad that you raised this in the video because I do think it's an important thing. And I like how at the end when you talked about the values of Tchoukball that were espoused by Herman Brandt 50 years ago, how you're still trying to maintain this during this difficult time.
I go back just now concerning another question that I had for you, Raymond, is on a very practical basis. I'm a practical guy, you know this, okay? We have a lot of countries around the world, a lot of national federations who are facing this problem now. Could you give them some little very practical advices? I'm a national federation anywhere in the world. I need to face with this pandemic now, with all the situation. What are the basic steps that I need to do now in order to help all the people who are in my national federation?
Well, first thing is my piece of advice is to establish a committed leaders like us. We gathered, or we have this ad hoc committee who takes care of finding ways to connect all coaches and players who we think are really affected. I believe that everybody is affected with this pandemic. Well, the key here is getting committed people to move this project of getting people connected, like, do some webinars and also get some speakers who can connect with topics like trying to get out of this, thing that affects everyone.
Excellent.
Raymond, we're going to come back to you in a second, but I believe with a question from Erica up in the booth. Erica.
Yes, hello. We have a question. We have a question from Chet Ho from Philippines, and he is asking, as a player, my motivation and goal is to win over my opponent. The ultimate goal is to be a champion. What do you mean by Tchoukball's objective not to make champions?
That's a good question. Don't get me wrong, but I am a coach and a former player myself. I wish to play at the top of everything. I wish to win. And win championships. But there's a study on sports that after winning a championship, 24 hours, or the most is 1 week, and then everything will be history. So, the thing that we can live for this beautiful sports is that when you establish friendship, establish relationships, and also playing with respect and also fair play, that is more, and winning people on your side, even your opponents, that is more than winning to me. Establishing good relationships, building people, building communities, and promoting a harmonious society. That is my goal in life. So to me, the backbone of Tchoukball, the backbone, if there is if you do not promote Tchoukball on this kind of spirit, there's no more reason to play.
I think that's an amazing message on which to leave this discussion. That's terrific words of advice, words of wisdom. Thank you so much, Raymond, for sharing them with us. Good luck with your continued efforts. And as they say in French, bon courage avec your next Zoom meeting with 500 people.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have started this presentation, this forum, with a presentation about Tchoukball in Africa, and now we're going to see a presentation of one specific country where a person have worked in a very wisdom way in order to go forward step by step in order to introducing Tchoukball in its country. John, could you please introduce us our next guest?
Absolutely, Daniel. Our next guest is the president of the Tchoukball Association in Côte d'Ivoire, Dazi Kaoussi. Dazi, bienvenue.
Merci.
Merci. Ravi de vous avoir avec nous, même si on va parler en anglais. Tell us, Dazi, how did you come to learn about the sport of Tchoukball?
Okay, first of all, I want to thank you all to having me here today. So I heard about Tchoukball in 2015 from a good friend who came from Switzerland. So in 2016, I decided to develop this sport in my country because I fell in love on this sport.
And when you introduced Tchoukball in Côte d'Ivoire, what was the reaction of people? Because this obviously was a sport nobody had seen before, so what was the reaction?
People was surprised, but when I came with Tchoukball values and Tchoukball culture, people was attracted. That was my strength. So I used that part of Tchoukball to attract people.
So in Côte d'Ivoire, where are some of the places where Tchoukball is played? Is it in schools? Is it in cities? Are there leagues? Tell us a bit about how the sport has been developing.
So here we focus our energy in school, especially on teachers and students. Teachers, because they have a skill to teach easily Tchoukball culture to students. And students, because they have time to grow with the sport. And in the future, they will be the most indicated people to practice Tchoukball with passion and to talk about Tchoukball with passion.
And have the teachers reacted with the same positivity as the students?
Yeah, the teacher reacted positively because they figured out it's a very, very peaceful sport and it's very fun and we have less injury after practice with sports. So that's part of the Tchoukball attract them so much.
Daniel, do you have any question for Dazi?
I have a lot of questions for Dazi, but I think that before we need to have a look at his film, his presentation, because he's giving a lot of information, and after that we can go back to the questions.
Let's do it.
Hi everyone, my name is Dazi and I'm from Ivory Coast in West Africa. I'm the president of Ivory Coast Tchoukball Federation. So today my presentation title is Teaching Tchoukball Culture in School for Sustainable Development. So our focus here was on teachers and students. Why teachers? Teachers because they have a skill to teach children, so they will make everything more easier. Why children? Children because they have a time to grow with all those values, and it will make them to be a better person before they become a great players. So from this idea, we're designing the 4 years projects. So we came up with 4 priorities. The first priority is teaching Tchoukball culture to school teachers and train them on practice. The second priority is teaching Tchoukball culture to students and train them on practice. The third priority is to build Tchoukball culture in every school. And the fourth priority is to provide Tchoukball equipment in every school. So last year we started the projects and it was very, very successful. So for the next coming years, we plan to cover all the country. Our big challenge is how to find those equipment. But we started designing those frames here in Ivory Coast. So I want to thank you all to help us be part of this big family and give us a chance to develop Tchoukball in our country. It's such a great sport. So thank you for your attention, and I want to let you know that we love Tchoukball. So thank you and take care. Bye-bye.
encouraging to see the video, Dazi, because you talk about the challenges you face, especially in terms of equipment, the nets and the balls. Initially, can you tell us a bit more about that? How are you, you're making the nets yourself, or you're importing them, or where do you get the nets from?
We got the nets from the International Federation, especially from Julio, and those who went to the General Assembly, Taiwan.
Fantastic. And you have had a good relationship with Julio. We talked with Julio. We talked with him at the outset of the program.
Yes, we have a good relationship.
Excellent.
Excellent. And are you able to manufacture also some net directly in your country, or how do you think it's going forward in those next years?
We are able to manufacture it to some frames. We are able to make some frame here.
Okay.
But it's very difficult to get some net, and from the board we can get some board.
Okay. So if we say the major issue concerning the equipment, it's the net?
Yes.
Okay, great. And do you have try to find in which direction you want to go in the next years in order to solve this problem?
In order to solve this problem, maybe we can get in touch with some other countries and try to make those things more cheap.
Julio?
Find a way to get them very cheap.
Okay, that seems to be a good idea. Okay, it seems that you have already given some courses to some teachers. Have you already given a lot of courses? How those courses are organized? What is the duration of those courses?
Oh, if it's a kind of 3 hours courses, 3 hours courses. It doesn't last long. Yeah.
And when you work with the teachers, what for you is the most important thing for them to take from the training?
For me, the most important thing is I want to get people who are very passionate to these sports. I don't want people coming for doing something they don't like. So I try to give them the most important thing about Tchoukball values. I want them to know the very, very important thing about Tchoukball. It's not about the usual sport. So when they get that, they can be patient of this sport, and they can give all their best to promote this sport in Ivory Coast.
I like that. Either you're all in or don't bother coming. I like that. Let's go upstairs to Erica. I believe we have a question for Dazi.
We do have, the first question is, what age do the children have who are training in school? And the second one is, how big are the groups when you do the trainings in the school? Thank you.
Right. Okay, about the age, we don't have a special age. We take very small kids for teaching only cost, teaching them good Tchoukball values, and about the side of the group, we take 50%.
Okay.
That's great, Dazi. That's great. One last question from my side. Now, dealing with the pandemic, how have you been dealing with the challenges that the pandemic has given all of us?
Okay, during the pandemic, we've been working on our projects, and we've been focused on our human resource management. So that was our focus in this pandemic.
Well, listen, we're really happy that you're able to be with us here today. We wish you lots of success going forward. Tout bon, et puis merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dazi.
Thank you, Dazi, so much.
You know, during this program, we've heard a lot of talk about the Geneva Indoors tournament. And to tell us a bit more, Daniel.
Yes, of course. Let's go back now to Geneva. You know that this tournament has been organized the 23rd year ago. And at the very beginning, it was just a tournament in one day. And with only 12 teams. Last year, in 2019, we had 245 teams and more than 2,000 players, okay? It's a huge development, and we have prepared, especially for this forum, especially for you, a little film to show you this development of the Tchoukball Geneva Indoors.
You know what really strikes me about that video, Daniel, is the steady growth year over year in the numbers. And what's really great is just the worldwide participation. It's fantastic seeing people from all these different countries.
It's really step by step, we have been making growth this event. What is really funny is at the very beginning, we didn't thought at all that it's going to be a big event. We just thought to organize an event with 12 teams. We were very happy about this. And I think that what we have done is year after year, we have really always been very keen to organize always something a little bit better, and every year we had more team, we had more country, we had more players, and we're very, very, very happy with this. And for this last, the 23rd year, we need to know that we have every year we have organized this event. It was really the first time this year, in 2020, that we could not organize it.
It's a shame, but next year is going to be the best year ever.
What is sure, and I can promise this to everybody, that we are already preparing now already the event of 2021, and we are looking forward to see you all in Geneva. We're ready to welcome even more teams. We have more sports centers, and we'll be very happy to see you next year, not here in the forum, but in the sports hall with all the players again.
Absolutely.
Okay. John, let's continue with our world tour. Could you please introduce us our next guest?
Yes, our next guest and our final guest for today is a bit closer to home in terms of if your home is in Geneva. We're going to go to the United Kingdom and we're going to talk to the performance director for Tchoukball in the United Kingdom, Janine Norman. Janine, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say a massive congratulations to Daniel, Erica and the team for just putting on such a professional event. And so really excited to be part of it.
Well, it's great to have you here. Listen, we've asked a number of people, and I want to ask you the same question. What is your origin story with Tchoukball? How did you first come into contact with this sport?
Yeah, I actually saw it at a sports centre that I was working at when I was about 19 years of age. And I just was like, wow, this looks fantastic. I had to get involved and then joined a session the very next week. And I'm still going, I'm still playing now. I think I got it into a lot of the local schools and I just was so passionate about the sport and here I am today.
And is Tchoukball played fairly evenly throughout the United Kingdom, or do you notice that there's more interest, say, in England versus Scotland or Wales or Northern Ireland, or is it pretty much spread across the UK?
Yeah, it's interesting, that one, because we very much have a national league within England. We know that there are schools playing Tchoukball in our home countries, but that is definitely an area that we want to work on so that it's not just maybe the south of England that are playing Tchoukball. And obviously, I've got the team in Leeds and there's more growth. But it's definitely something we need to work on to make sure that we've got more people participating. But I'm sure that's probably the same a case for a lot of countries, really.
Mm. And in terms of where Tchoukball is played within the UK, is it primarily in schools? Are there leagues? Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, what we do have is information that around 10,000 young people are playing and probably even more than that in primary and secondary schools, as well as colleges and universities. We do have a national league and that takes place predominantly in the winter months, so between September and April. And we do have a good number of club teams participating. We participate in mixed leagues. And we have a really strong membership base as well.
That's great. Daniel?
Yeah, a little question, a more personal question, Janine, okay? I know you for a long time now. I know you as a player. I know you as a presenter. I know you as a director of the performance, okay? I know you as a promoter of Tchoukball. Which is the role of all those which you prefer?
Do you know, I just love them all. I really do. I don't think I've got one in particular. Obviously, I loved doing the commentary last year. That was just a new challenge. And I'm sure that I will come to more roles in the future within Tchoukball. I still absolutely love playing. I was intending on playing in the European Championships, which we were going to host here in Leeds this summer, and I am definitely intending on playing in the future. But anything really to do with Tchoukball is a joy and a pleasure to do so.
Well, we're going to talk to you a bit more about Tchoukball in the UK, but first, we'd like to watch a video that you and your team have prepared for us.
Good afternoon, I'm Janine Norman, Performance Director for Tchoukball UK, and a really warm welcome to you all. Thank you so much for joining this Global Tchoukball Forum, and a massive thank you to Erica, Daniel and the team for inviting me to take part in this event. Some of you have seen me around the Tchoukball scene for a little while in various roles, be it organising, commentary, or obviously playing as well. And that has been going on for around 17 years. Back in 2003, I met Martin Cates, Richard Jackson, and the CEO of Tchoukball himself, Phil Moore, back in my hometown. We're now still rather a team on the court. We're a team off the court now as the board of directors for Tchoukball UK. So why am I here speaking to you today? As part of my role, I am not only as a head of PE teacher at a high school in North Yorkshire, I, while I was at university, had to complete a number of coaching qualifications to upskill my knowledge in a whole variety of sports. But what was missing? Tchoukball. I actually set up the club at Leeds Beckett University back in 2006. And from there, these coaching courses were around in all sorts of sports, over 15 sports. So I decided we need to get Tchoukball a course. And we have level 1s, level 2s and level 3s. So I thought, right, we'll start at level 1. It's really popular, look at the feedback. And so we ran with it and we launched this nationally, and we are now 125 courses that we've completed. Over 2,000 people have been upskilled, have got that coaching qualification and certificate. So how are we going to move this forward? Well, we already noticed towards the back end of 2018, there was a slight dip in the uptake of courses. And that wasn't just because it was Tchoukball, it was noted in a variety of sports, and many universities and colleges and schools were actually saying that, you know, they weren't maybe as keen to take part on courses face-to-face anymore. So our challenge was, how are we going to get this coaching qualification and this resource pack out to people that we either can't reach or don't want to attend a course? And that is through online courses. Tchoukball UK and myself are going to design and put everything in that booklet onto an online digital platform where participants can sign up for, pay and complete in their own time. This is really going to allow us to not only upskill teachers in primary and secondary, which we are already doing, but colleges, university, coaching courses, anyone who's interested in Tchoukball and wants to know more. While I'm on here, I really want to give a big sort of shout out to any female participants. I think we need some more Ericas of the Switzerland, more Chiaras of Italy, and maybe even more of me. But how many more females can we get to volunteer further, to lead on projects, to get more females participating, so that it really is a balanced sport, if you like. I think we need to have some more girl power out there. If anyone wants any information in terms of how to set up your own country's course, or how we are doing that online, then please do get in contact with me. It's janine.norman@tchoukball.org.uk. Well, thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
What a great story. And Janine, it's like you're the Wonder Woman of Tchoukball in UK. You've done everything from commentating to playing to coaching to developing this manual. And you talk about the need for more girl power in the sport. You talk about the need to get more women involved. Right now, you have a global audience. So if there were a message that you wanted to share with the women out there about Tchoukball, what do you want to tell them?
Wow, what a question.
It's an easy question.
Do you know what? I just think we need to just tell all women, and of course this is about Tchoukball, but we do need to get more women and girls playing Tchoukball and being physically active. We know, and this won't be a national thing in the UK, I'm sure this is worldwide, that there are barriers and there are limitations for girls and women to take part for a number of reasons. And actually it's about, we need to get young people and young women playing from an early age and keeping them physically active, because we know there's a big drop-off rate. So how do we do that? Well, we need to just make sure that we continue to make sure that it is inclusive, and that we are making sure everything is fun, it's exciting, and that they know that although it's a mixed sport, although I know nationally in some countries it's played women and men, that it is treated equally, and that Tchoukball is for everyone.
Daniel.
Exactly. Thanks for this comment. I know that it's a topic which is very important for us. We didn't thought that we were going to discuss about this, about the girl power in Tchoukball, but I know that it's something which is very key in order to help us to develop Tchoukball in the future. And I know that we need to make a lot of effort in this point, because there is still so much to do here. So thank you, Janine, to have raised this point. But let's go back to the very interesting project that you had with the online teaching tool. Could you let us know a little bit more precisely, where is this project now? What are the main issues?
Yeah, where we're at with this project right now is obviously everybody's at a standstill in terms of delivering face-to-face courses. So what we're doing right now is placing that information onto an online platform. So we're just in the middle of that right now. So we're getting that content in. We need to design the assessment, because obviously we're not going to see them face to face anymore. We need to design those questions. We need to make it exciting. I'm sure we've all done lots of online courses and workshops over the last 8 months where they probably have been a little bit dull and not as very interactive. That's our challenge. We've got to make this exciting, and that it's accessible, that anybody can take part and they can do that in their own time. So that's where we're at. We're hoping to have that launched around about sort of February, March time. And I suppose really it'll be a case of, maybe doing this again next year. We can tell you where we're at. I do think we are leading the way on online coaching courses. And we haven't heard, and we've researched to see how many other sports are doing that, and they are very few and far between. I think there will be more to come, but it'll be good if Tchoukball can lead the way on this.
Yeah, it's really absolutely perfect. We know that it's such important to be able to bring Tchoukball in the schools, and I'm sure that your project is going to help us to do this. Thank you so much for this work, John.
Janine, it's been great having you here. We wish you much success with the development of the project and everything else. And I, for one, am expecting to see a Women's World Championship team coming out of Leeds or somewhere in the UK in the not too distant future. So best of luck going forward.
Thank you so much, and all the best for tomorrow. What a wonderful event you've put on, everybody. So congratulations.
Thank you. Daniel.
Thank you, Janine. Thank you a lot to all the guests who have taken part to the event today. Giulio, Anita, Raymond, Daisy. I have been very, very impressed how fast they have been able to answer to us. Fast also, they have been able to give us the material for us to be able to prepare all those preparations, all those presentations. My congratulations also to John, of course.
Thank you, and to you, Daniel.
Thank you, John. Thank you to Erica, to Stéphane, to Christophe, to Jean-Loup, to Sandrine, to all the staff of the Global Tchoukball Forum, all the staff of the Tchoukball Geneva Indoor, who have made it possible to organize this event in so short period of time. I invite you, of course, to come tomorrow, 2 p.m., okay, for the second session of this Global Forum. We'll have very interesting guests from Tunisia, Taiwan, Italy, France, Cameroon, and we'll go back at the end to Switzerland. Ask your family, ask your friends to join us. We'll be happy to see them with us here tomorrow. Tomorrow also, we're going to show you two very, very special videos that were prepared especially for you. Tomorrow, you will be able to see them. And at the very end now, to close this event, we have a little show that have been prepared for us by the dancers of CDC event and the Tchoukball Geneva Indoors. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
À demain.